an architect, or engineer, but in simplicity is what I'm aiming for today in the next few weeks. I want everybody to be able to survive at some level, and the best level to start at is at the bottom, and you interpret your strengths as you go on. But I do promise you, if you press every button that I tell you to press, you will be as good as anybody out there using this program. There are a lot of buttons, and today is a button class. I'm going to tell you maybe 5 or 6 buttons is all you need to survive on this program. And we'll go through those slowly. The first thing I want to do, I know I have a cluttered screen here because I do a lot of tutorials and I share problems back with you. I want to first of all tell you, if you need to get a hold of me, my name is on the screen, paddy.conway@unilock.com. I'll dip my head around and you can see that. Write that down. You can always email me with your questions, and I'll be glad to help. I do drive a lot, and in the next week or two, I am on the road. I used to fly everywhere for live seminars and guest appearances as a speaker, but I am driving a lot more now just through the headaches of going to airports. So there's days where I have 2 or 3 stretches along the highway that I can talk, and I'm going to give you my personal cell phone. It's a 708-717-6907. If you forget, it's 708 Irish Lad. You don't even have to put the D in, it'll find me. But anyway, so that's one way of getting a hold of me. I love texting only because it gives me a chance to read your problem before I get to the phone. But either way, you have 3 valuable ways of getting a hold of me. It can get very busy. The last seminars, I had over 500 emails. So bear with me. I will try and get to you all. And if I pick up the phone, that can speed it up too. I speak quicker than I type. Now, the first
Paddy,
thing
Paddy, I just wanted to mention, can you mention the phone number one more time? People just found their pencils now. So
okay. Yeah, my cell number is 708-717-6907 and 708-717-6907. And phonetically, it is 708 Irish Lad. You can dial that, 708 Irish, IRISH-LAD. You don't need the D on the end, but it just goes with it. Irish Lad. And that's how you get a hold of me. You got my email, paddy.conway@unilock.com. Screen capture, and you've got the 3 ways of getting a hold of me.
So I just wanted to also mention, Paddy, that we are recording this session.
Okay.
The recording will not be made public. The recording is by request. So if you want to review this again at some point, just email Paddy and he will give you a video link of today's session. So yeah, if you need that, just email him.
Okay, thank you, Ray. Thanks for that. I'm just going to start on the basics now. When you receive the program, you'll see on the top right of my screen, there's 2 icons. You'll see Uvision and you'll see Uvision Photo. They come with a package. They come loaded up together on the screen. And the first mistake that somebody might make is working in the photo program. This Uvision button right on the top without the camera is the one you want to be in to design. That's the nuts and bolts of what you're going to be doing, is designing. If you're in this program, it's for editing photographs, smudges, taking a bicycle out of a picture that you took of the house. And I'll tell you why you might take a photograph of a house. But so that's basically it. There's 2 different formats. I've used the photo format, and I would have to say if I've used it 5 times, that might be an exaggeration. I use it sometimes to show people what to do in there, but I never use it. I use my iPhone for my editing, and I have Adobe's or whatever in the background. So if you're comfortable with how you edit pictures, you don't need it. If you want to learn this, it's very good. It's there for you. I'm not knocking it. It's just I'm not proficient with it. So what we're going to do is go straight into this button here, the Uvision 2020. And I'm going to click it. And it doesn't matter if you got Uvision 2018 or whatever the year is. The basics are the same. But if you don't have the updated version, you're not going to get the toys that came with the upgrades. But the basics are the same. And that's why I say 5 or 6 buttons. And you can see what are buttons. Let me take this out. Well, let me just start on this thing. You're going to get a welcome menu. And there are icons here, 6 links. We're going to use some of them, not all of them, but there's some very, you click on those in your leisure and it will take you places. But I'll be bringing you in and out of there as the course commences there. But what I want to really show you is if you don't get that welcome menu, it's always here under File. Go down about 6 or 7 entries to welcome menu. Click on it. Do you need it? No, you don't. You don't actually need to read that every time you come in. I'm always looking for a blank screen. And sometimes some programs, I have different computers running this. It comes with a welcome menu. Some it doesn't show up, but if I need it, File, go down, welcome menu, and go from there. And we'll explain those 6 options as we get into the program. Now, we talked about buttons. This program is all icons and links, and you can see here building, terrain, road. It goes on. So what is valuable? All valuable. It all depends where you are in the industry. What you do, how you present, how you sell, what you build. So there's something for everybody. They're the main categories here. And then you'll see some icons in here. And to be honest, I don't use virtually any of the top ones here. I use the bottom 3, and I will explain that. So what I'm going to do is tell you a little history of why this program is good. First of all, as Ray explained, I am elderly as such. I've been in the industry a long time. I had my own business in America for 37, 38 years. I was in this industry as a child back home with my family. So I'm very experienced as a contractor. I used to teach this in Europe. I used to teach land surveying. So I grew up in this industry very much. But I was a pencil and paper guy. And part of it is I love art. I love doodling. I like representing something with pen and paper. I find it relaxing. However, when I got into the contracting side heavily, it wasn't healthy. I was at the table way too long. I used to burn my eyes out with the gray papers. But this is the future. There's no way around it. Now, I say that because I did try programs over the years, the CADing, whatever, but I found it very engineering biased and boring, to be quite honest, because I couldn't doodle. This program, when I was first introduced to it, I thought, oh gosh, here we go again. You know, another nice landscape sticker program where you put plants on the screen. Within 48 hours, I knew this was different. This is hard to explain until you start popping these designs out, but this is a game changer, a life changer, a career changer. And if you're new into the industry, or if you are in the industry, obviously, it'll make you think twice about how you've spent your time in the past. And I say that now, I can knock out really beautiful designs. If I was an hour on a design now, it would be, what the heck have I been doing? I can really knock out pretty nice patio designs as such in 15 minutes, and they look good. They really do look good. Now, the problem being is, as a trained, let's say, architect as such, and I'm not an architect, but when you do blueprints in the industry that I grew up in, the civil engineering and land surveying, we were taught how to draft, and we drafted like our architects. Beautiful handwriting. It's part of the course. You would fail based on handwriting. But you have to realize when you design on paper and pen, you have to do that every time. You have to label it. You have to write the name of the plant, the brick, the details, handwriting, 9, 10 at night. You have to be out in the morning at 5:30 to meet the crews. You might have appointments in the evening. It went on and on, the reasons why you shouldn't be doing this. Well, so I reluctantly tried this, and guess what? I thought, here we go. This is very, very powerful. And I'm going to show you why. And I'm going to show you why when I spoke to the creators of the software, what our industry really could use. And I showed them on the screen. They weren't that, they had no concept of why that is exciting. I'm going to show you what is exciting. And I'm pretty sure you'll agree. So I know, welcome back to some, welcome to those who have joined today, but I'm going to go simply into this now. And this is what I'm going to suggest to you. When you look at the screen, there's the main button you're going to be working on when you load information is your building tab. So you can see here where my icon for the mouse, hit building. Now you've got items coming up in here that relate to the building tab and more, but let's just look at it slowly. Now, I've come in from the site. I went there with a pen and paper and a tape measure. And I noted details. First of all, when I measure, I'll measure 19 foot 6 inches, 19 foot 8 inches, 20 foot 4 inches. I get it, precision. The tape measure tells me that. When I load it into here, I'm not that worried about the inches, and no disrespect to the engineers and architects out there. I can be interested and I'll show you how to do that, to precision, but I'm looking at it purely from a cosmetic, artistic ambience point of view. I'm going to build something on the stage and I'm going to show it in video format to the client and impress them that way. The nuts and bolts of lineage and precision does come, but to present it, I'm not going to beat myself up over 4 inches in scale. So we'll talk about what that means here. Now, first of all, when you get into the program, now just imagine you've come in off site, you go into the drawing board, and now this is your drawing board. There's things to notice about this, the squares. The squares are in increments, and you'll see a big blue square and a lighter shaded out square. So 0, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. These big squares are 10 feet by 10 feet. It's defaulted into the program. It just means you're clicking points that the screen recognizes. It doesn't matter what scale you're working in as such. It just recognizes that you're going to be working in 2 foot increments, which is fine. So, and you can change that increment to whatever, if you wanted a foot, if you want it 6 inches, if you want these squares to be whatever, you can go into the edit mode and change all that. But 2 foot is the norm. And once you get into it, it's pretty good. So I'm hitting the house button. Now, first of all, I want you to notice something. As I click the house button, you're going to see these 2 buttons here are activated. This is the grid, and this is your magnet. The magnet holds me to an intersection point. And I'm just going to show you, I'm going to place my hand on the mouse, and I'm going to just shake the mouse around on the table. If I go slowly, you will see that the mouse is jumping to grid. It's jumping in 2 foot intersections, like a stuttering train. I can go off course, but it won't land on anything to designate as a fixed point unless it's on an intersection. So that's what this magnet does. It keeps you in line. So I'm going to quickly look at my notes. 30 feet, came down here, blah, 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 left, right, and these are just following the notes that I took on site. Now, that is magnet on and just following my site notes. I'm going to do it again. You go to house, you go left click on a starting point and read your site notes. And you will be building exactly what you measured on site. You go back to the starting point, and there's your house built in. Now, if you go to this word on the right, you'll see here, edit house. If you want to edit anything that you've done to date, you click on the house. Notice nothing is here on the right now. Click on the house, and edit house presents itself as an option. Now, one thing I'm going to stress to you is when you're editing, look to read what you're editing. It says edit house, but it sounds simple. But when you have patios and driveways and trees and sidewalks and pillars and lights, and you click on a cluttered design as such, just make sure you're editing what you want, not something nearby what you want. So just read the top. If you ever make a mistake, and I'm going to make a mistake now, I'm going to put in a house, and let's say I did something goofy. I spilled my coffee, and that happened. If ever you want to do undo, you go to this button up here on the left. You see on the top left, it's now active, undo, and you can take out a whole house, or you can go to this button here. You can take out as you build along, and you can go to edit. You can go to this point here, edit points, and I can go to any point, activate it red. I can insert a point and drag it out, and I can edit in many formats. But this undo button will take me back through all the steps. You can see what I did there. Redo, let's say I went just one step too far. Redo takes me back into the building of this here. So undo, redo. It just saves you deleting files. You don't have to delete a file if you goof up. Just go and look where you were before your grandchild or daughter touched the screen, and that will save you a few hours. Now, the other thing is, let's get rid of this here. We just talked about this magnet here. Now, before I get on to anything else, I'm going to show you what magnet off does. If I deactivate, you can see now this magnet is no longer hot. If I deactivate it and go to house and click my first point, I'm going to show you something close up. I can actually start in the middle of a square and look at the inches coming into play. Now, I always start on an intersection when I start, but you can see I'm just flying around the country having a good old whiskey here, hanging off the edge of the plane. And how I can correct myself to be more stable, if you hold down the shift button, and if you have a pen and paper, write these bullet points down now. Hold down the shift button. It gives me freedom to move around quickly, but it keeps me in a straight line. You see where I go back to my starting point? I'm slightly off. Release the shift, let the two meet. Now look at this point here. I'm slightly off kilter there. I'll go to edit points, grab this one, and then tuck it in. Well, not too. My mouse is too big. I can't really see, but that's even worse. There we go. But anyway, you get the point. I can go to a point and re-click it. Sorry, my mouse is in the way, so I can't really see what I'm doing. I'm trying to make the mouse more visible for you. But anyway, so that's the benefit of this off, magnet off. It means you can design quicker, and you can also design in straight lines and 45 degree just by holding down the shift angle. And let me just show you this here again, the shift house, magnet off. Click an intersection point, hold down the shift, and I can do stuff like this to the inch. And I'm not totally tied up to an intersecting point, and allows you to be quicker, and I am quicker with it over time. So that's the option, magnet on, magnet off. Magnet on you stay, the computer will keep you online. Magnet off, it will allow you more flexibility and speed of angle and change because you're directing the next point, not the computer. I prefer magnet off, but anyway, to start, I highly recommend magnet on. So there's the 3 buttons that are 4 buttons. You know, you're going to have undo, redo. You're going to have these 2 magnets. And this here is your grid. You need the grid to get yourself going on this. But if you turn it off, you see you've got a blank screen. Turn it on, it gives you your starting ordnance points there. So that's basically the buttons that you practice when building a house. But let's just build a house and see where we go with this here now. So I'm hitting the house tab. I'm going to put the magnet off for me, but I'm just literally going to starting point, shift. I'm going to build just a makeshift house. I'm not worried about dimensions at the moment, just how to build it. So there you have a house built. Now we're in plan mode. First time we're going into perspective. That's what you see in perspective. Now, is this in fact the house? It probably isn't. You should go buy a lottery card if this is the house that you measured today. How lucky was that? What you do now is click on the house and look in the edit mode and you will see wall material. You can pick any material, color. There's tons to pick from. You could go to all, or you can go to a category that fits something similar to where you were measuring this house. And let's pick this brick here. I select this brick, hit OK, and it changes my house brick. And you can also notice that there's white trim all over this house. That is because if I go to undo, the siding, the default house always comes in with wood with a trim color. If you are working in wood and trim, you can change the color just by editing the wall material. And you see the add corner trim, you can take that off. And you can change the color of the trim of the house. Just in these edit buttons here. So let's just undo. And now we're going to go back to where we had. Just get rid of this one here. Sorry, my confusion. If we go back to this house here and click on the material, I'm going to go into brick. And there it is there. There's the house brick that we were looking for. But notice it comes with a white siding. It does that because it's built in to arrive with the preset wooden structure home that comes with the program. It's easier to turn off these features than add them in. So take it off. It won't be on brick, so take it off. And then you can change the color of the trim or you can leave it. White might be the perfect one. So up to you how you do it. I'm just leaving a color in here just to shock you. So that's basically it. Now, there's your house. Now, is it in fact a ranch? It probably is not. So how do you overcome that? You go to the word wall height, slide across to 10 feet, and bring it up accordingly to what it could be on site. Now, notice once you change the trim color, for the first time now, I'm going to go into the house mode here, and you can see windows. If I put in a window, notice that trim color came down to the outer edge of the window placement, which is kind of neat. If you go for doors, you'll see that trim color is now included in these trim colors here. So that's pretty neat. Now you notice how easily I'm putting in the windows. Put in a window here. What you can do from here on then is you can press edit, copy, edit, paste in place, and that puts a window that you like in place where you found it. I like paste in place because it means I go back to where I found it. And then all I do is grab it and slide it across. Edit, paste in place. Now this time, I'm just going to hold down the control button, and notice my 4 directions are gone. I only have up or down, and then I just slide the other one in place above it. Go to this one, edit, copy, edit, paste in place. You see now one just arrived on there. Hold down the control button, slide this one right above it. It saves you sliding all over the house trying to get these 2 edges in line. So that's another Paddy point, you know, with holding down the control button and sliding windows in. So that's good to know. So within seconds, within minutes, you have a house on the table here. And just remember, as I said years ago, you'd be half an hour just framing out your paper with a sticky tape, getting it down, getting your tools, your angular tools for it. Within minutes, you've got this nailed down on the screen. And you probably, now I can do a really nice design in 15 minutes. I'm not bragging. I'm just saying it's something you will be doing yourself. You'll be doing it in 14 minutes, and then I won't speak to you again. But so that's the first way of looking at these houses, building them manually and changing the materials. You can even change the roof. Notice if I click on the house, the roof material is here. Let's pick something shocking so you can see I changed it. There we go. That's disgusting, but forgive me. Now, so that's basically, you can edit anything on the screen. If you want to edit a window, you click on the window, and there is the model type. Click on that, and it opens up a whole new language of different windows that you can put in its place. And you can edit these windows with height and width. And if you like one that fits the bill, copy it, paste in place, and throw it to the next wall. So little things like that will save you a lot of time. So that's the first thing we're going to do in how to build a house. It's all in this house tab. And you'll notice we haven't strayed very far from home here. We came in and we're just hanging around buttons here. And you pretty much will be hanging around these buttons for the rest of your life. So be nice to them. So there's one. Now, what I'm going to do is show you, 3 ways today of building a house. This is the first way. You click your way around. Now, we talked about loosey-goosey here, you know, 2-foot increments. If you want to be more precise, what you can do in plan is go to the house mode to start again, left click, and you can then hit enter. And it will ask you for direction, and I'm going to say 90 degrees. And I'm going to be asking the measurement that I measured exactly on site at 14 feet 7 inches. It's okay. And you can see 14 feet 7 inches, shoot off 90 degrees to my starting point. And there it is. And this is waiting now the next direction. You hit enter, and you can say maybe 33 degrees. I don't know why I picked that, but no, 33 degrees. And I'm going to leave it 20 feet. So you can pick any precision angle and distance, hit OK. And there you see I went off at 33 degrees to my last point at 20 feet. So you can see precision is something that is totally available to you. And we can talk about that as we get into it and respect each other's position. If you're an architect, engineer, absolutely, no disrespect. I'm part of the family. I know exactly why you need it, and I'm there supporting that. I'm talking now as a contractor that has 5, 6 kids. I have 6. That wants to see my kids before they go to bed, wants to go to their games, wants to see the grandkids, whatever it is. I want to just present my designs now visually. And once I get the go ahead, I look at the critical math. So there's ways of looking at this from different perspectives. So anyway, let's get rid of this house or whatever that was. The other thing that you can do, and we talked about the power of this program, and I'm not going to go too far into it today, is this word plan detail. And if you look at plan detail, you've got all this CAD information up here. You know, you can go here like linear distance. You can see these squares are 10 feet by 10 feet. You can get this exactly to fit. And you can see the 10 feet coming in under CAD options in here. There are some additional tools in here that you will love. You will love. Let me just let this one go here. Whilst we're in the plan detail, if, for example, I went into the building tab and I put in a patio, there's my patio button, and I'm going to hold on a shift button here. There it is there. Now, for those of us that don't have good handwriting, and trust me, it's out there now, handwriting is not taught in schools anymore, and it's something we've got to get used to. Handwriting is poor. It was very, very predominant in my schooling. You wouldn't pass your what we called finals to go to university if your handwriting is bad. That university wouldn't take you. So that's how strict it was, handwriting in the environment I grew up in, back home in Ireland and England. And it's a sad art. It's a sad art that's been forgotten there, because beautiful handwriting is art. Now, if your handwriting is bad, I get it. I get it. I'm not knocking you. There's a great button here in plan detail you're going to love. You see this word plan detail? I put in a patio here. And if you look on these last three buttons, plant legend, Unilock product legend, click on that, and it drops onto the screen what's in this patio and what you know, what the total Unilock products are in here, which is brilliant. I mean, if English isn't your native language, and you're presenting to somebody that is fluent in English, I mean, this is perfect. It shows exactly what you intend to do on site. So that's something to be looking for there in the plan details. You can see here, plan detail, Unilock legend. Likewise, plant legend. Let me just go in for the first time here into the landscape mode. You see the fourth button along here, landscape. Click landscape, hit a plant, and it defaults at this. I'm just keep hitting the default just for the sake of it. It's a maple, Japanese maple, I believe here. Now, if I go into plan detail and look at the plant legend, it affords me 3 Crimson Queen maples. So again, handwriting is taking out of the equation, which I think is really good. But you know, sad, but good. But anyway, so not only that, what I want to show you here while we're in this mode here, if you click on the patio, go into edit patio mode, go right down to the bottom of the screen under information, you'll see the area is 400 square feet and the soldier course is 80 feet. I mean, that's brilliant information. You didn't have to take the wheel out now and measure, you know, after you've fallen asleep at the table at 9 o'clock at night. It's all done for you. Every time you touch the screen, it's recording for your benefit. The other tool in this here, you see it's the word tools right at the top of the screen, again, close to home. We're striking pretty much in this neighborhood. Tools. Go down to it's not there. Aha, excuse me. Let me go into this. I want to get out of plan. Go to tools. My icon is missed. Ah, there it is. Right on the bottom. Sorry, my eyes are tired. project material list. Click on project material list, and it gives you all the materials that you currently have in this design. We talked about the 3 crimson maples. We talked about the 900 square feet soldier course. It's all recorded here under tools, project material list, right at the bottom. What you can do is you can, if you want, price them. Let's say I put in these maples at $800 each. So I'm gonna click on this and hit 800 and I hit tab. 3 times 800 is 2,400. So you can start to price this job in this format here, just under this button, which again pleases people. I have a different technique. I use a technique called hardscaping by the hour that I talk on. That's for another day. I don't contain my prices in square footage as such. But if you like what you see, and you can save it, you can see the save price list button here. That means every time you put in another maple of that name, it's going to price it and put it into your costing analysis here, which is good, you know, and you can export it even to other programs like QuickBooks. You can load your prices. It comes up preload and you click, click, click. So there's ways of playing around with this button, and it's under tools, project material list, right at the bottom. So that's really invaluable. So already you can see you can build a house in minutes. You can change textures, colors. You can start to quantify your measurements just by clicking on this, going to the bottom, and you will see information, square footage. Now this is only available to you in plan mode. To see some, you'll see like that these the legends that we brought in here, the plant and this, you'll only see it in plan, but you can print plan. If you hit perspective, these 2 labels will disappear, but you can utilize other functions such as a 3D label, which will stay in this format here. So if you hit 3D and label it, they will, and we can show you how to do that if we go into plan. If you go into 3D label, I'm just pulling this out of the way. So I can just put, I'll type in Paddy. And hit OK. And you can see Paddy comes up with a camera. And that means you can adjust this camera. There's ways of playing with this. You can see the camera. You can actually send out a label of this design pointing to it. And this is your patio. And you can name it. And there's the brick, the angle that they would see in 3D. So it's really clever. The plan detail is clever. It's something for you to play with as you see fit. And I don't want to spend too much time in stuff that isn't, you know, vital at this stage of your career with the program, but it's something to practice with if you like. So for all the CAD fans out there, this is extremely helpful with added tools that you just saw, like the 3D label. And if I went into perspective, you know, when you go into other formats of labeling, you can get, you can tilt the wording so it rises up out of the ground. It's very clever. So that's one way of doing a house. Okay, we've gone through some motions here. Now, what I want to do is, we've got 2 more to knock out. I'm going to show you the next way of building a house is through a photograph. And the photograph is really good. I wasn't a fan of this, to be honest. I'll be quite honest with you. I wasn't a fan of the photograph aspect because I saw that over the years as it progressed. Take a picture of the house and you used to stick somewhat authentic pictures onto your picture to make it look like you landscaped it. There was no depth. But let's just see how far this program's come. So, and it wasn't this program, I'm just saying how far this technology's come. File, import. Now, this is the first time you're going to be doing it. We're going to be doing it twice today, but this is the second way of bringing in a house. Import, picture. Now, the picture comes with 2 options. this camera or an overlay. There's two ways of doing it. When you were working on this picture format with the camera, it's a picture of the house. You stood in the driveway and took a picture dead on to the center of the house. And that's where you should be taking your pictures, right 90 degrees through the center of the house. Don't take it at an angle, because your perspective and scale now will never be corrected. Go to the front of the house or the back of the patio door, right down the middle, walk out into the yard, take a picture, smack on. And that's what the picture is. Just like you're going to put it up on the mantelpiece, like a wedding photograph, it's going to stand up and look at you. And the overlay is when we're going to be bringing in blueprints. We'll get to that. But for the moment, I'm bringing in a picture. Hit next. And I'm going to go to my desktop and see if I can find a picture that I would work with. We could use that one. Let's take this one here. There it is now. Now, what I want you to notice is, this might, forgive me on that. I'm going to get rid of that one. Get rid of it because it's not going to be clear enough for what we need. File, import. And I'm sorry, my screen, picture. I'm looking for one that I think will be better for you. Yeah, this one here. This would be a house that we were building as such. There it is. So let's look at this. Now, one thing I want you to notice, it's just a picture. And the computer has now taken, if I look at it in plan, I'm gonna get rid of all this stuff here. There it is. See it in plan? It's tiny. Looks like a piece of toast. So what we have to do, there it is. What we have to do is give it some scale. But you notice we're in 10 by 10 areas here. This picture just came in as an object. No relevance, no bearing, no sizing, no scaling. And that's what we have to do. So if we hit perspective, I'm going to tell you the first thing you're going to do. You have to, if I right click, you'll see this picture rotate around following me. See the way it's changing its angle? Press this button, rotate to face viewer. Now it stays fixed on an axis. So you've turned off that feature there. And we have now got to tell this picture, if we're working in 2-foot increments here of a 10-foot line, I've got to find an object in here that I can scale onto my grid. And I know in America that the front doors are 3 feet wide, single. Patio doors are 6 feet. Sidewalk could be 3 feet. There's things I know just by looking at the house. But I can get out of the car, take a picture, and just measure the front door. That's all I need. So I'm going to tell this picture, when you come into this design, I'm going to blow you up and drop you down into the ground where this door is 3 feet wide. So I blew the picture up, and you'll see the button on the right here, under elevation, drop it down. And there you have a 3-foot door on a 3-foot axis roughly. And I'm not going to be too picky about it, but that just shows you how you're going to get scale to this drawing. Now, looking at it, looking at this, I want to put in a driveway and some perspective to this, design. Years ago, when people called for estimates for brick driveways, that was the toughest sale, because you're going to knock on the door, measure it, and give them a price for $80,000. Holy cow, you know. They didn't realize it would cost this much back in the day, whatever the figure was, you know. But now I'm designing with a photograph of their house, and I'm going to show them their existing driveway and what I'm going to put in, and then give them the price for 80,400 and let the picture do the work. And not only am I going to show them the picture, I'm going to make a video as I drive up through the front of the house. And this will be done in the seminars. But you can see already, now I've just got a picture of the house I dropped in, and I scaled it just by dropping the picture, blowing it up and dropping it. So one piece of information on this picture matches the grid. Now in plan, I'm none wiser. I just got a bigger piece of toast. I don't know where the front door is. Look back in perspective. What I'm going to do is click on the landscape mode or the building mode and go to the word column. You see the fourth line here? I'm going to click on that, and it defaults and brings in a column. And I'm going to slide the column right at the front door. Now, if I look in plan again, there's the column, but it's white on white. So what I'm going to do is click on this button here, and I can change it, or there's all these things in the way. You don't see this, but the things pop up on the screen. Or I can click this blue button, this edit button, and edit the materials. And I can click on this blue button again here, put in a solid color, and change that pillar to bright red. Now you see it clearly in plan, and look at it in perspective. That's my starting point. That means in plan, I can start to build. So there's the front door. I'm going to start to put in a sidewalk, a stoop, and all the information. And I'm going to create something interesting. And when I'll be honest with you, when I do design, I kind of like to make interesting shapes. So I can go to edit points. I don't like just the way that started. Go to edit points, grab it. And again, I can't see it properly with my big mouse here, but edit points. Now this is a must, write this down. Anytime you edit an item on the screen, you have to edit back out. So you see the way I edited that one point here? Edit points allows me to work again on the drawing. If I don't edit out, I'm doing nothing else on this drawing. And when I started, kept turning the computer off, thinking it was frozen. Edit in, edit out. You must write that down. Now, you might think that's a stupid driveway. It probably is. It probably is. But I can go back into plan, and I can go to edit points. And this is another great point here, round corners. See that button there? Third one down, round corners. Grab a point and start to make this a really visual and interesting driveway. You can see what I'm doing here. I'm just being a bit flippant, but see how the change in shape there? It's got all the arcs. If you ever need it in CAD format, now I've got something really interesting. And that might mean I like it, but I don't like the color. So what I do is go to edit materials, and I will pick a color that would suit the house, and might go to elegance range, or let's pick something like, I'm going to pick a dark one just for the heck of it today. No, I won't. That won't help you see the technique. Let's go and get a light one. Let's pick something with a touch of browns in there. This one here, the cope thorn. I love cope thorn. So now you can see I can now knock on a door after I landscape this evening. Every time I do a driveway, I landscape with hedging, and let's just quickly do that. I'm going to put it in for the first time. You'll see me going into the landscape mode, into the hedge mode. You see here, left click, straight line with a shift, right click. There's a hedge. Then I will go hedge, left click, right click. I can go into plant. It'll bring in the maple. I'll click on the maple and I will change it. If you go to models, I like working in models because they sway more in the breeze. So I'm just going to pick a bright tree that you can see on the design. And we'll go into landscaping more next class. But let's just look at this in perspective. You can see now, I can see that hedge is too big. And I'm going to knock the height down from 4 feet to maybe 1 foot, 18 inches that you can buy them in the nursery, the Hicks I use. 10 feet, I don't think so. And be careful of that. Sometimes I click too fast and it takes me to a higher perspective. The width is 3 feet, knock that down. And you can see there how I'm starting to make this all fit. I can click on the tree and I can go to the starting age. You see here, starting age. I can lower that. Or I can grab this hook button here, the square, and I can proportion the tree from there. Now you can see what I'm doing. I'm actually showing a finished article. And not only that, then, if I click on the driveway, my information is there. 1516 square feet with a soldier course of 227. If I go to tools, project material list, it's all in there. All I do is screen capture this, send it to my suppliers and say, I need this material, this quantity, round it up for wastage to the next pallet, give me a price, give me delivery and tax. And you'd be amazed at the number of people that do not include delivery and tax of materials in their bids. So that's something to talk about on a rainy day or snowy day, as it will be today in Illinois. So, you know, this program is starting to add value to you, and you can see how great this is. Now, once I do some of these designs, it really takes off. Here's another thing I want to quickly show you before we go into the last one. I can look at a blueprint that a builder gives me or a homeowner, and I can actually build these pictures standing up of the blueprint of the house. Let me close this down. And we'll go into one I think I have prepared for you. I had it here. I think I'm in the way. Maybe I don't. I did have it here. I will find it, but I'm going to show you how I built. Let me do it. Yeah, here it is. Let me go in. It should be right here. My screen's too full, so it takes me too long to find it. But the last thing I'm going to show you today is a wow. It's a wow. Let me go here. File. Here. And just glance at this. You know, it's the same technique. I brought in, it's the same picture, just for speed. I brought in blueprints of a house, and you can see I can build a house without going into any finite details. The landscaping will sell it without a doubt. But this is a really neat way of putting out a very quick bid and a polite bid. Sometimes I don't have time to deal with houses that I can't service, but they were referred to by a really good client or sister, brother, whatever. So that's, you know, I'll do something very quick. And I'll just look at the blueprints, knock up 4 walls and drop the landscaping all the way around. And it looks great. So forgive me for the speed of that. So I'm going to show you the last thing today. It's going to take 10 minutes and then I'm going to let you go. And this is where this program sold me. I was so impressed with this feature now that I actually made contact with Brad from Unilock here to say, boy, if this company ever wants to sell this, I would buy this. I would be a partner in this any day of the week. Watch this. This is what sold me as a surveyor, and you're going to love this. Every time I go to a job, I ask for a Plata survey, and the Plata survey is a recorded survey of the house and the property they built, to the property line, distance between neighbors, plans, the street, everything. What I'm going to do now is go to File, Import, Picture. But now, remember, we brought in this picture that stands up. This time, we're going to work as an overlay. Hit next, next. Okay, now we've got to find one. So I'm going to find a survey. Let's pick in this one here. This is a pretty complex one, so it's nice. Now, you saw the survey. All it was is a picture. Now, I asked the people, if you have it, hold your camera right over the blueprint, the survey. Don't take it from the other end of the room and say, there it is, Paddy by Steve's head. You know, he's having a cup of coffee at the moment. You'll see it on the table beside him. That is of no use to me. I need a direct bird's eye view of that survey as if they were an eagle over their own house dropping down. Easy to do with a camera, or they might have it in PDF from their architect. But there I have just imported it, and it's a postage stamp on the screen. Remember, these blocks are 10 feet, 0, 10, 20. They just sent me an object, an image that is less than 20 feet, yet they're living in a palace. How do I get it to relate to the scale of the drawing? This is what you do. You'll see this word here, as I zoom in, just for visibility. You'll see this word, resize using known distance. Click on it. Then all you're going to do is look for a distance that you could measure off the drawing. And it might be a site measurement here, 213 feet 07. So I'm going from there down to here, right click, turn the magnet off. You can see how the magnet wants me to stick to points. It says it's 13.5. I says 213.07 feet. Hit OK. This drawing is scaled, my friends. You have nothing more to do. Now, because I like working in straight lines and then I go back and edit and round corners, notice if I want to build this house, if you have the magnet on, the magnet wants you to stick, let's get this out of the way. If you went to the house button, the magnet wants you to stick to the grid. Turn the magnet off. I can then do this, hold down the shift button, and plot my way around. Now, sometimes, as you see, I'm going to show you something, and I'm going to go really quick on here, just to show you a quick trick. I'm just clicking on points here. And remember, compare this to days of old, where you literally did this with pen and paper. Now look at this in perspective. You've built a house on a blueprint to scale in perspective within 2 minutes, which is brilliant. I mean, isn't that just amazing? Go back to plan. Take this house out. I work in straight lines. I'm going to show you a really valuable trick. If you click on the blueprint and go to this word angle, you see the word angle here? Watch my house in relation to the grid. I'm going to go in a bit tighter so you can watch this line here in relation to the grid lines. If I go to angle, see the way it tilts? Going backwards, I can get it parallel. One more. You can see now I've done nothing. This doesn't change any information. It just means my house is tied into the grid in a straight line. So when you go to build a house and hold down the shift button or even leave the magnet on, you can see there's less editing because I'm working in straight lines. And again, pencil paper days are gone. I can go back and edit any inconsistencies that I like. And there's your house. Look at it in perspective. Remember, we scaled the drawing. Now I've got the house in there. You just change the house as we did earlier into whatever material it was. I'm going to pick something. I'll pick something different. There's the house. Now the brick might be a bit revolting, and you can change, you can edit the size of the brick. You can see going in and out what I'm doing on the screen here. You can make it in perspective to where we were. Click on the house again. You can turn off the add color trim there. You don't want it on the side of that. You can make it 2-story. Go to your wall height, pump it up. Now you can make it realistic. But the good thing about it is because this drawing is in scale, and I am now going to go to the patio button. And I'm just going to literally knock out a patio. I'm not worried about errors or mistakes at this. Well, there's an ugly error you can see here. So I go to my edit point and I just tweak it up. Then I can go to the driveway, copy my shape around there. And let's just quickly do that. Let's put in a driveway for today and finish on that. I'm going to turn off my magnet, and I work in lines that I can curve later. I work in straight, and I'm going to show that to you right here. At this point here, I'm just going to go at an angle instead of dotting around. Then what I do, go back to my starting point. Now I go to my edit points, round corners, go to this one here, and put in that lovely curve. Soften this one, soften that curve, soften this one. You can see what I've done here now. There's my driveway, and I can soften that point there. I'm looking at it, it's a little sharp. I can do anything to it, but the brilliant thing about it is I click on it, and my computer is telling me it's 2,667 square feet with a soldier course of 328. And that's brilliant. What information. And all done off a survey that you imported either from the client, you took it yourself with your phone at their table, email it to the program, open it up, and there you go. So today we've talked about 3 ways of building a house. You can build it manually with the buttons that we were talking about earlier. You click the house and you go magnet on, magnet off, your preference. You can click, click, click all the way around. You can click, start, hit enter. You can choose an angle. You can choose a distance. You can look at the plan detail and CAD options that we described today. Then we looked at importing a photograph and scaling the door to the grid. Then we added the driveway to it, started a bit of landscaping. And the third way, and this is the real deal, this survey is a game changer for anybody. Ask for the Plata survey. In older houses, it's not available because of the banking system. In new developments, they have a survey. A lot of people innocently don't know where it is. It's in the closing details of the house. A lot of people won't give you the survey because the fence guy of their last house never gave it back, and it's a $1,500 expense. So don't be alarmed when they say we don't have it. All you want is a picture of it, nothing else. Worst case scenario, if you have a bid way out in the country and you really want to see what you're looking at before you get there, go to this button up here. You have to be on the internet, tools, and you can go to it's the Google Maps. See the Google Maps there, about 8 down? You click on that, hit next, start Google Maps, and it's going to ask for an address. You type in the address, it will hover over the house. You screen capture it just like you would any screen capture on your computer, and then you import that image as your survey. And you know the driveway could be 12, 14, 16, or have a look at it from the street view. You can look at the street and look at the front door. Get a perspective of how wide the front door is, or the garage door, 16 feet. Go back to the blueprint and position and strike off your resize using known distance. Now you've got a survey from the air. You didn't leave your desk. You've got a picture of the house. You look at it, perspective. This could be a nice job. Do exactly what I did with this picture here in the back. Yes. Now look at this in walkthrough. First time we've done walkthrough today. We've got a house in there. We've got a driveway. I'm going to here's a quick thing before I do that. You see the survey that we have on screen? The transparency up here, why leave that on? I like it because the people generally sometimes don't know where the front or rear door is, and that's important to make them feel part of the conversation. So what I do, instead of ruining the design with that blinding light, go to the transparency and just wean it out a little bit. So it's still visible. You can see it's still back in the background. Go to walkthrough, change the hour of the day. You know, you can see now it's not so brilliant white, but there is their house on the survey. And the other thing is when I go in here, and for those of you that are a bit nauseous, I don't think this will happen to you, but I'm just gonna lower the screen now, gently down. I don't wanna give you a headache, but I wanna show you a feature. And this isn't a brick possibly to do it, but it's so life-like. You generally won't have to bring a book with you to the sale. Look how realistic that is. The wrong color for the house, it's the wrong house, whatever, but it gives you an idea where we're going with this conversation. The walkthrough is brilliant. We're going to go through that in another class, but today, you know, you've got quite a bit of information there to play with. You've got my information, and you know, we're going to come back and do more advanced now on the next class. Look at the date calendar that we have set for that. I will be here, Ray will be here, and we're going to go through the next stages, and you know, a bit of trickery, some really, really good stuff though. That'll save you time and you will love it. It's going to save you hours of designing. So tune in for the next class as we progress. But there's lesson number 1, how to build a house, 3 different ways. Any questions, you know how to get a hold of me. And Ray, if you would like to join back in, I'd love to have you.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'd like to thank everybody for coming. Very informative talking. If you're not a Uvision user today, I'm sure you will be by tomorrow morning. You can go to our website where you can access the software. It's not an expensive one-time purchase. It's not a subscription. It's a one-time purchase. Very stable software. You'll really love using it. And it's got like 15,000 objects and elements in it. So there's, and you can import things from SketchUp as well. So that's kind of cool. The next session will be the intermediate session, which will be next Tuesday. Paddy will be conducting that training as well. And I'd like to once again, thank you for sticking with us. And we hope to see most, if not all of you, back next week.